Neymar finally replied to Inácio, and it got much worse for him. Because social media is only talking about that, right? Lula decided to mess with people who were minding their own business, right? He tried to provoke someone he can't handle, right? To win a leftist this big. And can you believe that even in China, the Chinese came out in defense of Neymar and went after the guy? They destroyed Lula over there in China. Guys, just so you have an idea of how much Neymar is loved, not only here in Brazil, but over there in China, where soccer isn't even that relevant, the Chinese stood up for Neymar and went after Lula. I'm going to show Neymar's response here. He finished off Pele Ignacio. Hit the like button. Here's tonight's video. Come join our family. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave your comments, okay? Before we start, my friends, I want to give you a tip here. This product that I show here on the channel every day has changed my life. After 40, it's a fact. It gets much harder for us to lose weight. Much harder, right? Look, I exercise every day, and I still wasn't able to lose inches, right? Slim, which helps burn fat and also curbs that ravenous appetite we often have, helps a lot. It even helps you manage to go for a walk, right? A physical activity approved by the doctor makes the process even faster, right? Cut out sweets, right? Use Slim Fever, and you'll see that things will get much simpler than we imagine, right? Because many times, dieting, following a regimen, it's a difficult process, right? But we can make it easier. That's why I bring Slim Fever here every day. Look at my face, look at my neck. Completely different from these photos and images. And it wasn't long ago. In less than a year, my friends. And the weight loss process was fast. How long have I been showing the product here? Right, I lost 20 kilos in just under 2 months. It's really worth it. Don't miss this opportunity. The link is right below, so everyone can take advantage. Even today you can get slim, get fit, your quality of life will be different. The link is right below. You can get Slim Fever today. Take a look. Chinese people criticize Lula's comments about Neymar. Outrageous. And it's not Chinese people living here in Brazil. Look here, look. One of the most popular soccer players in China is the Brazilian star, the great striker Neymar. He received support from several Chinese internet users after Lula made fun of the athlete, who is all set to make his World Cup debut in the World Cup tomorrow, right? On the social network Weibo, which is one of the biggest social networks in China, since they don't allow Instagram, they don't allow Facebook, they don't allow YouTube, they don't allow anything, right? Most of the comments about the case disapproved of the Stooges' behavior. This president is so abstract and completely lacks an overall vision. Are all foreign presidents like this? Question mark. Our leaders would never be so insensitive and short-sighted, wrote a user. The guys are even praising dictators. Because of that absurd thing the stooge said about Neymar. Is this the kind of magnanimity a president should have? This president is outrageous, said another internet user. Look at this one. Brazil doesn't deserve Neymar. The Chinese and the comments. There were also those who remembered that the national team's number 10 has already expressed support for Lula's political opponent, President Bolsonaro, suggesting that this might have motivated the ironic comment from the biggest stooge in Brazil's history. Lula made that outrageous remark during the event in Belo Horizonte, right? And people are talking a lot about this. You can already tell how tomorrow's going to go, right? Is it already certain that Neymar will debut? Maybe he won't play the full 90 minutes, right? But I believe he'll come in during the second half and all, right? To strengthen the team. Guys, we have some of the best athletes in the world. There are a lot of jealous commentators who say, look, but Neymar isn't in the same form as he was years ago. Neymar, even with his legs tied, is better than anyone else on that team. That's obvious. It's not because I like Neymar. That's a fact. They balance things out. We were struggling against Haiti. Yeah, we beat Haiti 3-0. But we saw in those final moments, things were looking bad. There's not that love, that athletes from the past always had for the Brazilian national team, right? We see that openly. And here, look, people already, right? Ancelotti confirmed it. It will be really cool to see Neymar's participation in the game tomorrow, right? That's the situation with Brazil. Do you know what's going on in the United States? The people on the left, right? They want to follow the World Cup. They want to follow the World Cup over there in the United States. They are being prevented from boarding their flight to the World Cup in the United States due to lack of a visa. And he complains, Brazil is sovereign. I thought all you had to do was board. This leftist has a memory, Brazil. But it's so weird that they think things are free. They're planning to enter the United States without a visa, just to watch the World Cup and cause the same trouble they do here. These absurdities. Look here, look. The young woman was so nervous she cried. She actually cried because she tried to board a flight to the World Cup. Just imagine what the situation was like. She got to the airport and said, "Look, I'm going to the United States." Then the airport staff must have looked at her and probably said, "Do you have a visa?" "No, I don't." "Do you have a passport?" "No, I don't." But you need to have all those documents to be able to travel to the United States. Then the woman left the airport complaining. Can you believe it? What a nasty setup. Mean. They don't want to let me into the United States. Man, oh man. Elliot even said she thinks the United States is like her own house, where she can just walk in. Just like it is here in Brazil. People are totally out of their minds, guys. Completely out of their minds. What goes through this girl's head to think she could enter the United States without a visa, without a passport, as if it was no man's land, as if it was like this banana republic here? Many times, right? Many times, especially when it's run by people like that. Anyone can come in. Venezuelans come in whenever they want. Haitians also come in whenever they want, right? And I'll be honest, right? People have a lot of admiration for us, right? A lot. And the number of crimes that happen to these people who leave their countries and come here is very small. It's very small. And a lot of them come to help. Well, the issue of immigrants is a serious problem. But we're not like the Europeans over there, right? Who brought in that bunch of idle people. Destroying all of Europe, right? Wrecking Europe. France, England, Ireland. There are several places we're seeing being completely destroyed by those immigrants. They arrive. They think they have to impose their culture. Right? It's outrageous. Doing all kinds of wicked things to women, right? And that's the problem. Now, we don't have, right? We usually don't have problems with Venezuelans, right? With Haitians, right? Who come here to Brazil. And Haiti is a relatively small country. But we've seen a lot of Venezuelans here in Brazil. Which now, right, has basically decreased, like drastically. Because Venezuela is already different, folks, in 6 months. 6 months into the term of the President of the United States, after having arrested that bum over there, Lula's friend, right? Lula's brother, too. How is the country already different? How has the country already changed? That's what I say. The left, they destroy a nation quickly. But to recover, it's also quick. We'll struggle a bit here next year. And that's a fact, and it's obvious. Until things fall into place, that's how it's going to be. That's the first thing I say since we're talking about this. Flavio has to arrive. And start cutting everything that stooge messed up here, especially when it comes to taxes. Because if we don't do that, next year things will get complicated for millions of Brazilians. Because Lula tied that income tax issue to PX, right? So if you spent more than 5,000 reais, the tax authorities are eager for your money. It's all to support the bureaucrats. It's all to support the stooge, too. We work here basically our whole lives to support other people's comfortable lives. That's the truth. It's a handful working for a bunch of people living off the labor of millions of Brazilians. The amount of taxes we pay here, right? But it's just like Flavio said at the start of the campaign. It's a big cut. Total cuts across the board. Guys, getting rid of 60% of the taxes here, can you imagine what kind of nation this would become? Imagine getting to the end of the year, and instead of paying the vehicle tax, you have the money to do a little renovation on your house, or even to buy a new car. If you don't have such high property taxes like we do here, look how much you have left, and all of that at the end of the year. It's a country that, look, they hate their own people. Imagine, you go to the supermarket in the United States, food has a 7% tax there. Here it's 50%. Energy in the United States is 7%. Here, that's considered leftist talk, right? Here it's 50%. If you buy a car in the United States, it's 10%. Here, it's 60%. And terrible leaders, right? Terrible. And about Neymar, look at the people here. You see, man, do you see anyone paying as much tax as Neymar? The amount of taxes Neymar pays. Then some shameless guy wants to talk about Neymar, who's at a World Cup, right? Representing our country. And where is that guy? He's right there, look. Right? That's hiding there, scared of Trump. Let's see here, look. Here, look. The biggest after Lucha.
Neymar, I would just add the hyphen, ex-convict, and my preposition for the verb to answer. The rest is perfect. I just don't answer ex-convicts.
They're saying that Neymar replied. After Lula tried to provoke him, he said, "I don't answer ex-convicts." It's really tacky, right? What this guy does, right? Ridiculous, man. He wants to pick a fight with the kid, but Neymar doesn't even mention Lula's name. And he got what he deserved, look. He got it. I don't answer ex-convicts. Lula's crew must have been upset, huh? Really pissed off. Those guys are, look, my God. Hit the like button, come join our family, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Share your comments here. I'll return tomorrow with more news on the Pizzafilios channel. Much love to everyone. And tomorrow we'll be back